this, I mean, obviously there's a training development component to solving that issue. Is there also a case for decentralization of power and authority, or is that too far?
No, I mean, I think that if you're going to be effective, particularly when you're talking about locking down talent, you have to know, and I think it also too is about reframing how we see leadership and management. I was having this conversation yesterday with a client. Is you know what, and by the way, it happens to be a client who has a lot of technical people who are getting promoted.
Hmm.
Okay, and so there's a hang up about I don't want to be a manager, I don't want to be a leader. What is that? How about we reframe in each context what it means to be an effective manager leader? In a lot of times, particularly when you have high technicals who are all experts, subject matter experts on a team, it's about facilitation. It's about shared mutual accountability and responsibility. I'm facilitating a result. I'm not your mom and your daddy. I'm not here to lord it over you. We're partners and collaborators and getting the targeted outcomes. That's a little bit of a different way of seeing leadership and management. And so I see it from and I love that you say decentralization because I see it as power. It's about power in relationships
Hmm.
and how that power is spread out, how that power is utilized in order for a team to function in a healthy way to get the best results.
I think that makes a lot of sense because you're also respecting the talent, the wisdom, and experience in the room. I'm not your mom, I'm not your dad. I'm just here to help facilitate, and that lowers the bar. And it sounds like, are you seeing a shift then in people's willingness to step up and take on those leadership roles when you redefine it like that?
Yeah, I mean, they feel like the pressure's off, you know,
Yeah.
because one of the things of in our minds, being elevated to a new role, and then particularly if someone got promoted and you didn't or whatever, is people feel threatened. They think, on a very human level, John, people are like, okay, what are you going to do with this power now? You used to be my buddy, my pal, and now you're my manager. Now what? Can I trust you? How will you use that power? You have the power to fire me now, where before you're just my colleague. So there's a lot of fear. There's a maturity that needs to take place when someone is promoted, particularly from within, which is ideally what we like a lot of times. But with that comes some challenges to challenge the maturity of the team members and the manager. Is what will you be like now that you have power? You know, and how will we work together now? Well, if it's not about being over someone, but I'm walking with you as we facilitate outcomes, that has a little bit of a different feel to it for both parties. And it feels more collaborative. And here's the word: it feels more safe, less fearful.
Yeah, I can imagine that it does, and I imagine you're an advocate for having those conversations up front when you shift roles and responsibilities. That you got to set that tone from the beginning because it's probably easier than trying to put the toothpaste back in the tube later on. I suppose to go back to that analogy.
That's exactly true. Yeah. And sometimes, unfortunately, I get called in when the damage is already done. And so now we
Hmm.
have to backtrack and we have to do what we call team resets or reboots and sort of redefine and we're setting boundaries, having team values so that we can reset how we're going to treat each other and how we're going to work together and how we're going to collaborate. And what all that means is how we're going to build trust.